How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lo4f, and today I've got a bit of a shorter video because I'm going to go and do the mission called Fuel Station Revived, which I've only got to go over to here, grab a fuel semi-trailer, and then I'm going to kind of cut across the middle and drop it off at this fuel station, which the good thing is then I get an actual fuel station on this map. But what I was kind of curious to see, I did this on the live stream but I couldn't remember. I want to do the mission to get the like fix and repair thing back in the garage. But to do that mission, one of the things you need is 4 lots of fuel, and at the minute, the only place I can get it from is the Yellow Brick Road map, or whatever it's called, so I'm going to have to kind of explore and uncover that first. And what I wanted to see is, when I unlock the fuel station, if it put like a little red box kind of near to where you get the fuel from, where I could get, yeah, just fuel barrels, basically, which, to cut a long story short, you can't, but that's what I was curious about, to see if then I could still get my garage fixed up before I move on to the Yellow Brick Road. And then while I was on here, I decided to bring the Dolphin out, because it's one of my favourite trucks anyway, so I thought then I'll go cut across back where I did with the MK38 civilian thing, because I found that like it was bogging down quite a lot, whereas the Dolphin, I've drove that, apart from the Lo4f, it's the truck I've drove the most out of any vehicle, I would say. And yeah, I know what the Dolphin's like. It's always been a bloody good truck, pulling wise and all the rest of it, and they've had a bit of a, they seem to have, like, whether accidentally or on purpose, nerfed the kind of initial torque when you apply the acceleration. So yeah, I just kind of wanted it was a good excuse to go roaming around with the Dolphin. Got a Lo4f for me, of course, because he's goddamn professional. And for the hell of it, I don't need it, but I've brought a maintenance trailer just because I'm going to go and drop that off kind of near to this warehouse, really, where I'm grabbing the fuel from. But so far already, I've tended on nearly every mission, every video to drive roughly past this point. And even though I'm unlocking the fuel station now, there's plenty of areas on this map where I'm going to be low on fuel, but I'm not conveniently near like the fuel station or anything, or won't be going past it. So yeah, it's just now I've got the trailer store. This is part of the reason why I was kind of put that as a main priority. To be honest, the like fix and repair thing and refuel was going to be the next mission I do. That's certainly the next one I'd like to do, as far as like the order that I'm unlocking stuff in my garage. But yeah, if I'm going to have to go and get the fuel, like I said, I could just blind drive. When I go onto Yellow Brick Road, it's at the warehouse that's at like the opposite end of the gateway I've got unlocked at the minute, so I could just blind drive my way over there, and I probably would make it, but I don't know, I kind of want to just do an exploration of the actual, the full map and everything, so yeah, I may not get around to that. Well, then again, having said that, it's probably brought forward when I'll actually do the exploration video of the Yellow Brick Road map. What is it called? Yellow something. I just remember Yellow Brick Road for some reason. Always reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. Yeah, I was driving along then, I hit a bit of a bump, the Lo4f flew off, but again, he jumped off in time, so then I don't tip, because it kind of shifts your weight back once he disconnects, so it worked out well enough, so yeah, I'm just towing him behind me instead. That's one thing that I will say, like, when I go out every now and then, depending how rough the terrain's going to be. That's one reason I do like the Zik 605R, because even with a Lo4f on the roof, a Lo4f on the roof, yeah, it's just a very planted truck, and it has got the roof rack and that. But obviously, in this case, they still haven't added anything. It'd be quite nice by now. I wouldn't go as far to say they need to, but I wouldn't complain if they did add a raisable suspension to this Dolphin by now. That would be pretty cool. And yeah, secondly, that I do think they should add by now, for a couple of reasons, is a roof rack. One, because there's more and more vehicles getting roof racks now, but they didn't add any to like the initial trucks in the game, which are all kind of missing out on the fact. Loads of stuff that's been added, like the Bandit, and then yeah, the Ziks, the Phoenix, the Force. Oh no, sorry, the Phoenix doesn't, but the Force does. The Tatra 813 or 815 or whatever it's called. Yeah, it'd be nice if they went back and some of the original in-game trucks, it'd be nice if they added roof racks to them by now. And particularly this truck, it's only got, again, 200 litre fuel tank. Which, like I say there, you can see now, and I have to say, this truck felt one of the least affected by the kind of torque nerf that feels like it's going on. When I drove through there, by the way, I just cut a little bit out, I just got stuck on that tree. That's one thing I would say that is kind of across the board. Once you practically get stuck, there isn't a lot of yeah, oomph going on in your tyres, but you can hear the actual engine still singing away a bit. And yeah, I could still notice it. Like there's been a couple of times where it's felt like there's been a bit of a power hit. I personally keep just a gut feeling that they reduce it by a few percent or whatever with each phase, just to make it kind of like a stealthy background. Yeah, instead of just making the maps harder, I think they're also like winding back the initial power we have and all the rest of it. I don't know, it's just a gut feeling. I certainly don't know about all the coding and all the rest of it, but that's just, I've mentioned it before on different phases, and again, it seems to be following along with this one. But yeah, the Dolphin was doing really well, to be honest. It was pretty nice to drive. It definitely, I wasn't really getting that kind of impatient, where the hell is the power feeling as bad in this anyway. And like I said, it's felt like that it's happened a couple of times before, but this has always felt one of the least affected by it. It's just got a very nice, when you put it into high range, it applies the power very well, and because this is like the military version of John, but it's got like the faster gearbox and faster engine and all the rest of it, yeah, it just feels like it does kick that power in more to begin with. I should imagine another vehicle that would probably still feel pretty good and pretty juicy when you put it in the high range, particularly it'll be the twin steer, which I'll be using pretty soon. The next mission I get where I've got to go and get sort of 4 cargo, I'm thinking of taking that thing out. Again, across there, I sped up the footage by 8 times, I think it was. One thing I will say, cutting across there, the current didn't push me as far over as it did with the MK38 Civilian. I ended up almost getting pinned against the rails, like as sort of the way the currents were pushing me. I think this was a little bit quicker as well, getting over that river. But either way, I sped it up because it was still too slow. Again, it wouldn't be too slow if it looked more serious, but when you're driving through it, bearing in mind you kind of, with those particular sections, you're aware that in theory there's highway underneath the water. There might be mud there, obviously they've put mud there and all that, but yeah, it's only like the water, I don't know, it's only around halfway up your wheels or something. It might go a little bit higher when it's like washing against you and all the rest of it, but it just doesn't feel deep enough. That's what she said. Yeah, to warrant like going 1 mile an hour, but it is what it is. This thing, again, current wise, it didn't get carried away or anything. It's got an extra axle, extra set of wheels for sort of grip and stability, and to put its power down and all the rest of it. So I think that's another reason I've always liked this over the a lot of the 3-axle sort of 6-wheel trucks in the game. Yeah, this one just does feel like with the extra axle and everything, it just gives you an extra little boost. It's the same thing again with Bruce, that's now got another axle on top of this. That's always felt like insanely good for grip and all the rest of it. Even in the review thing, that took the trailer up all 3 quarry hills like it was nothing. Yeah, that's where I'm dropping the trailer off. Don't know, I'll just one day in the future I'll be floating past. I mean, I could have done it right now. I did see now that my fuel was nearly empty, but just kind of, I don't know, getting my calibration of the maps with Dolphin and Lo4 for various vehicles, one of which is always going to be a Lo4. But yeah, I've made it this far on 1 tank of fuel, so I know between the roof rack and the Lo4 that I could fill this truck up and then get back to the garage again, which I don't quite need to go to the garage, but yeah, it's just I could have grabbed that fuel. See, this is another one over here. I've entered from sort of the left more, so at least I can go on a bit of an angle and let the current kind of push me over a little bit. But it does feel incredibly slow, and I don't think it's got anything to do with like the Lo4 lane on its side at the minute, but I don't think that's making any difference because everything I've drove through here 3-4 times by now, and yeah, it's been exactly the same speed every time. I'm gonna give him the Lo4. He'll be back up in a minute. Checking for underwater moles or something. Wouldn't blame him, they are sneaky little bastards. So yeah, this is the fuel tanker thing you got to get. And again, it's back at this same warehouse that I ended up getting the metal rolls from in the end, which I didn't originally plan to head to this one, but yeah, the other river current was stopping me. And tonight there was quite a few different vehicles I was going through. I nearly used the Voron Grad and the Voron AE. I was kind of looking at both of them, but part of me I wanted to use the Klob, but that can't have a saddle low. The P16, but that can't have a saddle low. I was considering using the Derry, but I've not got the top engine, the new engine unlocked, so I thought I really can't be bothered using the old crappy vanilla Derry. And there was a couple of other vehicles, and it suddenly dawned on me, oh, the Tatra 815 or whatever it's called, that was one that I was going to use, and that can't have a saddle low. There was a couple more as well. It suddenly dawned on me, like, how many vehicles can't have a saddle low in this game, more than I remember, to be honest. Yeah, now I've got the trailer and everything. It's funny enough, it might have been yesterday's video as well. Somebody said in the comments, I used the Lo4f to refill my truck, but I had this fuel tanker sat there, and they are right. I'll give them that. But I was saying to them that yonks, it was like a month after the game came out or something, if that. I took a maintenance trailer from the oil drilling platform thing in Black River. You had to take a maintenance trailer from there to like the far side of Smithville Dam, and I did it. And it was a maintenance trailer you had to take. And along the way, I took some fuel out of it. And then when I got to the mission area, it wouldn't let me drop it off. And in the end, I had to restart the mission. It then automatically took the maintenance trailer back to the drilling platform area on Black River, and I had to go all the way back and then bring it there again. So ever since then, I've been really kind of hesitant about taking fuel out of mission trailers or anything like that, so that's why I didn't poach this one. But I do believe I have heard since then, and I have actually tried it a couple of times. Just I tried it when I could reset the mission when I was still there, not when I'd spent an hour driving across the map with like largely stock vehicles as well, that I had to get that across Black River and the entire length of Smithville. And yeah, because I robbed a bit of fuel, I even put the fuel back in from a truck. I think I might have even brought a truck in the end to top it up. It ate hours of my time anyway, so yeah, I kind of avoid that a little bit now. But I stuck the Lo4f roof rack fuel in, and most of the Lo4f fuel, but he's goddamn professional. He only has a little sip. Lo4f fuel lasts for ages. You have like 14 litres left in it, and you can still go and do about 4 laps of the map. Okay, maybe not quite 4 laps of the map on 14 litres, but he's a goddamn beast. He makes it last. Makes it stretch. Definitely what she said, of course. Yeah, even along this bit, this is now cutting across like the centre road of the map, which I like that they added this. Yeah, it's just a nice little cut through. I can even live with being sort of made to go quite slow, because at least it's a pretty direct route. It's kind of what I do on Michigan, and there wasn't even on Black River. It's not really a road on the route I go. Heading, funnily enough, towards the oil platform and all the rest of it. Yeah, I just kind of plough across the water, and even though it's a little bit slower, I kind of appreciate the more direct route. Yeah, I forgot to draw a line going back, but as I said, I'm going to the fuel station, so when I get out of here, instead of going straight across and heading to the garage, I'm going to go left, and it's only going down the highway at that point. It's, like I said, a pretty simple mission, a bit of a shorter video. I think most of the videos I've done recently have been sort of over a good half an hour, so it was nice to do this one. It was nearer, yeah, 15-20 minutes. But the sorry, there's a little glitch there. It's not an edit. Yeah, this Dolphin, again, it was still bloody slow on sections like this, where it just feels like there's a certain speed limit that's been capped, but it did feel pretty comfortable climbing through here. I've got a feeling like that area yesterday in the river where the MK38, it wouldn't get through the current kind of washing against it. I believe this would, and that's where I think things like the extra axle again probably help a little bit. I think this is pretty sure it's more weighty as well, so it kind of plants itself into the floor better. And I've got the chained on as well. I just bought this. Again, I've given up trying to look for where I've left vehicles these days. I just go and buy another one and another one I own. I don't know. I should look through and see how many vehicles I own these days. It's like the Zik 605R. I own about 14 of them, but I only ever really have 1 or 2 anywhere near me. I just forget where all the rest have gone, so it's just quicker to buy a new one and carry on, especially now I've got like 112 million or whatever it is left. I think I started with 120 million when I did that mod, so I've probably spent about 8 million just buying duplicates of trucks that I can't be bothered, and then I go and fully upgrade it, drive it for a mission, abandon it somewhere, and then go and buy another one. It's pretty easy life when you can just mod 100 million. Just need to work out a real life mod now. Again, I'm still claiming I have the right to rob a bank based off what that man said on TV in the 90s. That you'd practically dare somebody to rob a bank these days. Them's fighting words. And yeah, like you say, now when you get to this bit, it's just a little windy road going down. And yeah, on some fuel stations, there's one on Smithville Dam, for example, the fuel station on there, you can get the fuel from like the big yellow square around the pumps, but then near where, say, that red tank is, sometimes there's like a smaller red box that appears and you can manually, or I suppose just load them, but yeah, get fuel, or yeah, fuel, like in the barrels. Doing this mission, it's only about 3,000, was it, or something, not a particularly big mission. As far as the map goes, it's nice that there is a fuel station now, even though, as I said, I've got the trailer store unlocked, so I can just spawn as many trailers as I want. But yeah, where I just reversed to, that's where I was hoping a little red box would appear and I'd actually be able to just get fuel and then get the next stage of my my garage mission done. And then that's about it, really. I just thought in the end I'll see how the Dolphin does, drop the hammer and go back to the garage. And yeah, again, I'm feeling pretty good. I'll be using this truck a lot more, because again, there's certain aspects where I prefer the Zik 605R, but I definitely prefer the speed of this vehicle is one thing, but it's just a nice vehicle, I've always found anyway. I nearly took that thing as well, the Navistar. I was tempted to do that because it worked out pretty well with the fuel semi-trailer. But then when I was scrolling through different things, I found the Dolphin and I was like, aha, that's what I'd rather know what this feels like. It gives me a sort of better base idea of where they've balanced the map and everything. And I have to say though, I'm still enjoying this phase. I think it's I still like the maps. I think they're pretty high up there of my favourite maps of like the DLC maps so far. And again, it's early days, there could be little sections that get repetitive and a bit annoying, but just scenery wise and feel in general, and the balancing. I mean, for example, this map is, it's not to say it's easier than Imandra, but Imandra is a good example of just, there was one speed and it was slow, and that was it. This map I do quite like. There is, even when you leave the garage in the normal way, I can sort of go off-road a bit and just bomb along the mud instead of hitting the snow that forces me to go slow. So yeah, overall I'm enjoying it, and the fact that the Dolphin still feels pretty decent. It's yeah, still able to handle its business. The Lo4f, of course, he always can. And yeah, so it's going pretty well. But yeah, that's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my Patreon members. Get yourself Dolphin and Lo4f, they're a bloody good pair together. And yeah, I'll be back soon.